Most people know Hot Wheels for their toys and maybe their video games because they have a new one of those on the way. But you may not know Hot Wheels for their movies. Turns out that they've actually made quite a few movies with questionable levels of success. And we're gonna cover one of them today. So if you're ready, let's review the Hot Wheels World Race movie and see if it's complete trash. So the movie starts off with this thing falling out of the sky, and then we transition to this definitely not evil guy putting his fingers together and getting the idea for inventing a new type of racer. Then we get to these two kids, which are skateboarding, where we meet our main character. And his other friend is like, hey, we should make a racing team. And he's like, nah, bro, I'm better than all of you. I'm my own team. And then runs into the wind. Also, they have the most 2000s teenager personality that you could possibly imagine.
Haven't you heard? I'm a team of one.
And then we see, hey, wait a minute. Is this actual death in my Hot Wheels movie? Huh? So as it turns out, main character's dad is in the military, but promised son that he would go see his driving exam, but cannot make it because he has military things to go and do. So now main character is sad. Transitioning to after he gets his license, he aces his test and gets a perfect score, which implies he's some super driving genius or something. This car just magically appears in his driveway because why not? Anyways, he opens up the hood of the car, gets in the car, and the first thing that he does is pull up the GPS and set a destination to the nearest McDonald's so he can get a McFlay. And then, hey, wait a minute, that's the cutscene for the World Race video game. You're telling me that the World Race video game and the World Race movie might have something to do with each other? It couldn't possibly be. So then we transition to him showing up at this building with a bunch of other racers, which were called by Mr. Tesla over here, where we get a massive war dump. That's literally his name, by the way. I'm not joking.
My name is Peter Tesla.
And by war dump, I mean just this guy inflating his massive ego.
I'm the founder and president of the Screaming Corporation. I've invented the most advanced racing technology the world has ever seen. In a world race, we'll take this technology to its limits and beyond.
Also, they're apparently playing Who Wants to Be a 5 Millionaire because there's a $5 million cash prize and bragging rights to whoever wins.
And will receive $5 million.
What would you do if you had that kind of money?
I do, and I've done it.
Okay, Batman. So all of the drivers go to this little place called Radiator Springs to test their cars. If they perform shunts, bashes, and crashes, they can get boost, which gives them a speed boost right here on Crash FM.
That was a public service announcement brought to you by Crash FM.
God, that's stupid. They also finally discover the button to use their power-ups, which they've had for like the last 10 laps in Mario Kart. Anyways, after main character embarrasses himself, we get second war drop.
I call the track Highway 35, but it's older than our roads, older than human history. It was built eons ago by technologically advanced beings whom I call the Accelerators. The track exists in a different dimension from our own.
Very cool and such wow. So all of the cars drive up to 88 miles per hour and then activate the time warp and go to the new dimension. Also, I know it says 300. Shut up, it's funny. Anyways, this guy also embarrasses himself by trying to take the massive whoop-de-whoop without enough speed, so then he just falls to the ground and dies. But then we see probably evil guy attacking main character and crashes him out, and then main character crashes another one of the racers out with him, and his response is insane.
Man, these cars can really take punishment.
Instead of being like, man, I gotta be more careful, I could have died, or literally anything, like, are you serious? Like, bro does not care, actually, bro. Then the main character, being the cocky idiot that he is, tries to make this jump that other drivers could not do. And by using the power of skateboard rules, he is able to fly across the gap and just barely make it across. But then, probably villain guy and main character end up battling it out, but their auras are both equally matched. So they both end up humiliating themselves off the track. Disqualified.
Disqualified. You need a little more practice.
Anyways, after the characters are done flexing,
When you've ridden motocross through the mountains of El Yunque like me, this is not what you have driven in a sandstorm in the Sahara, Banshee. This is not.
we find out that the speed boost from Burnout 3 can be turned into bombs, and then it like totally activates this wicked cool lava bomb volcano, bruh. Wicked. And also, thanks to the power of surfing, main character is able to surf on the lava with jet boosters. Yeah. Now this is aura. Anyways, probably villain goes through the lava and then girl thinks she can go through it, but actually can't and almost dies. But then maybe not villain has a change of heart and goes back to save her. And then main character also has change of heart and they both grapple hook her, but she weighs more than your mom. So she just grabs one of the grapple hooks and they just pull her up that way. That sentence made no sense. I should really rework that in the script. After the characters are done glazing each other.
Again.
That was good driving for a kid.
Well, you might make a pretty good surf rat yourself.
And that ends the first race, where we get told by Mr. Tesla that the drivers have to be on teams now. And main character isn't very happy about that, but does it because he wants 5 milli and fame. Also, Tesla finally stops FaceTiming and actually meets them in real life, probably because he forgot the password to his Twitter account. So then we actually see one of the teams practicing on the previous track, and Mr. Tesla does not like that.
No one enters Highway 35 unless I approve it. Those are the rules.
Rules are made to be broken.
Not my rules.
Luckily, main character has not picked another member for his team yet. And then we see someone come in driving Kurt's car. Yes, I actually bothered to run the name of one of these guys. And it turns out to be Kurt's little brother, who Kurt is kind of a jerk to, not gonna lie.
Get out of my car!
Hey, bro, nice wheels.
My kid brother. And I'm not a kid. He's a punk like some others around here. I want to be on your team. My team's full.
But luckily, rudeness isn't tolerated by main character because he recruits the little brother into his own team. Yay, friendship! Anyways, even more lore about the Wheel of Fortune.
This ancient inscription describes a wheel of power that will be found at the end of Highway 35. I believe it will be the greatest source of energy the world has ever known. Work with your teams and win the world race. Prove you're the best drivers in the world and bring me the wheel of power.
But then, we are actually introduced to Storm Shadow, and I forgot her name. You know what? I'm calling you Elsa. Anyways, Elsa wants Storm Shadow to keep spying on all the racers and the Tesla guy so that they can steal the Wheel of Power, basically. That's all you need to know. Anyways, main character tries to prove he's better than his teammates, but ends up getting negative aura for like the 50th time.
You need a little more practice.
Anyways, Mexican guy, and is that kind of villain? I'm starting to get them mixed up now. This is what happens when I forget to learn what the characters are. I don't know about you guys, but I don't feel attached to these people at all. I literally could care less. But what I do care about is their surprisingly entertaining banter, and battling where they earn themselves plus 20 aura.
Give me some rope, Kurt. You're not winning this race.
With my eyes closed, Frankie.
With your mouth closed. Be better. Esto es una locura. Easy for you to say.
God, that joke's gonna get old fast. A Mexican man and his team end up taking an illegal route. Huh? Like, so much stuff is happening, but also nothing is happening at the same time. It's actually incredible. But through the power of shenanigans, the actual villain guy and the Mexican guy end up in first place, battling it out to see who will be the victor of the next Mr. Beast challenge. Back to the illegal racers, where we see Storm Shadow acting super edgy and shooting an energy bomb right at the bridge trying to take it out. But it doesn't work, and the bridge stays up, allowing the drivers to make it across. And also the main character, which backtracked to help them. I think he just wants the $5 million cash prize from Mr. Beast. Also, main character has kind of had a personality switch. He's actually acting more cautious now for no reason at all.
I see the road beast up ahead.
I can catch him. Careful, Mark. There could be trouble ahead.
Weird. Also, the Mexican team finds this massive fidget spinner. Anyways, well, girl. He's acting like a giant nerd. We cut back to Storm Shadow, where he's trying to cause an assassination attempt. You shouldn't say that, it's so bad. But luckily, the nerd's plan starts to work, so he's forced to not kill people this time. Yay! So Kurt's brother makes it through, but the burnout-free bomb ends up getting caught in the fidget spinner and blows the whole thing up, causing it to rotate at a different velocity. But the main character and Mexican guy both attempted anyways, and gained passive aura by making it through. And then the fidget spinner just gives up and dies. Something, evil guys, something, they tied. Something max aura. Then we see, is that Elsa in person? And Storm Shadow meeting up. And Storm Shadow's like, I don't want to kill people. But Elsa's like, you're gonna win this race that you didn't enter. And then turns into Sans. Cut to the other racers working on their cars. And we see one of the racers up on a hill channeling their inner chi. Where we get a crazy war dump about this guy. I don't want to laugh, but like, this just comes out of nowhere. There is no hint of this before this scene.
You let the city of your fathers become a ruin? For 100 years, the desert has grown around you. The people are leaving you. The sun moves in.
Aziz,
What are you doing here when your city needs you?
I need to win this race. With the prize money, I can...
I see danger waiting for you on the road you travel.
What danger, Aziz?
I speak of the greatest danger of all.
How will I recognize it?
How should I know? I'm blind.
Transitioning back to the world race. So all of the drivers end up in the middle of the desert and get stuck in the sand, except for the Dune Rats, which remember to use their power-ups for Mario Kart. Look at them. But Kurt actually does something pretty clever here. He uses his grappling hook to grab on to the back of one of the Dune Rats' cars so that he can get out of the sand and continue the race. Like, W use of your power-ups, bro. And also main character in his team, again, used the power of surfing to make it out of there. So the guy that had the visions ends up seeing a statue of a dinosaur, and apparently that confirms his fear of the greatest danger or whatever. Then the villain guys try to make it across the gap formed by the T-Rex, but they end up missing the jump and die. But luckily Master Chi himself makes it across. Yay! But while these guys are battling for supreme dominance, Storm Shadow himself has finally entered the race that he's supposed to win by cheating. Also, as Master Chi is racing, we finally get our first glimpse of the Wheel of Power. Master Chi actually gets to the top of the pyramid without anyone else getting up there. And as he approaches the Wheel of Fortune, he senses a disturbance in the force and actually grabs it. But surprise, Storm Shadow shows up and fires his weird energy cannon right at Master Chi himself. But Master Chi ends up activating his Mario Kart power-ups from within the force, allowing him to safely make it back on the track. But Storm Shadow isn't giving up that easily, as he yeets himself off the track right after Master Chi. As their aura increases from an anime action scene, which causes the Wheel of Fortune to fall off the back of the car. The anime action scene is not over yet, as it only gets more intense as more and more people are showing up and going after the wheel, fighting against each other for their lives. But the main character just suddenly decides that the wheel is fake and just goes to the top of the pyramid.
Hold up, Wave Rippers. Taro and Banshee aren't going after it. That's not the wheel.
Storm Shadow and Chi both make it back to the wheel, but Storm Shadow pulls out his wrestling moves and body slams Chi right to the edge, causing him to hang on by a thread on the edge of the track. But then Chi uses the power of gymnastics to make it back onto the track and knock off Storm Shadow's helmet, revealing that Storm Shadow is actually one of the already established racers. So Kurt Wilds tries desperately to win back the wheel's heart, but it's too late, as the wheel's already fallen for Master Chi as he hits him off the side of the pyramid in defeat. But finally, it's time for the rematch of the century, as Evil Guy and Mexican Man get into another rematch to increase their aura. And in a twist of fate, it almost looks like another tie. But if we look closely, we can actually see that there was a definite winner to this race, which for some reason is not mentioned, which is really dumb. I was really hoping they would make a bigger deal out of that, but maybe they do later in the movie. I don't know. And my goat, Master Chi, has made it to the end of the race with the Wheel of Power as he goes through the portal. It dissolves as if he just collected his 100th power-up in Mario Kart. And then the portal just closes behind him, making it so that none of the other racers could possibly make it through. Also, apparently because it evaporated, that proves that main character was right, and that actually wasn't the Wheel of Fortune. No, my goat Master Chi himself, why? But don't worry, because main character and Master Chi get to have a deep heart-to-heart conversation. Well, about as deep as you can get in Hot Wheels movie.
I heard Kurt Wild ran off, like he was some kind of spy or something. Pretty wild, even for Kurt.
I was the one who turned him in.
Hey, looks like some tasty waves down there. You ever do any surfing where you come from?
My home is far from the ocean. Sometimes it's hard to find water just to drink. And now my people fight each other.
I guess $5 million could really make a difference.
That is why I drive.
I never thought about what winning means to other people. Just what it means to me.
Aww. Transition to Kurt, driving on the road, planning on doing some suspicious activities. But luckily, Elsa interrupts that by taking her helicopter with her massive magnet on it and lifting the car up into the air to have a very formal discussion.
We must talk, Z36.
They know what I've been doing. I'm through working for you.
You will work for us as long as we have a use for you.
I swear I'm getting whiplash from how many transitions I'm having to do. Come back to Master Chi himself, doing more Chi stuff.
Did you find the danger that was waiting for you, Kadim?
I thought I'd found the wheel, but I was wrong. It was only that I wanted so much to find it, to win the race.
That is the greatest danger. To see only what you want to see and not what is true.
I want to win, yes, to get the money our people need.
Our people need not what is yours, but you. They need you to lead them.
Is that why you're here? To tell me that?
You're telling it to yourself.
On the plus side, we do get to see this beautiful sunrise at the end of it. Somebody make that into a wallpaper. I'd use it. We also see an interesting parallel between Kurt and his brother here, with Marky saying that he doesn't have to cheat to win, and also Kurt having said that earlier.
Hey, I don't need to cheat to win. It was just a joke.
I'm a good driver. I don't have to cheat to win this race.
Oh no, there's substance again. Quick, move on. But then, before the new race can begin, Kurt and his rando drivers show up and end up cheating to get a head start in the race before the timer even goes off. Actually, come to think of it, with Tesla saying that nobody breaks his rule, does that mean he's gonna be mad at Kurt now? Kurt's old team members end up making it to the portal. They realize that one of their members didn't do enough takedowns in Burnout Free to fill up his boost meter beforehand, so now he ends up missing the portal and probably dies off screen. Then we make it to the next Ice Age, which is the new Mario Kart track week from Mario Kart 17. And then we see Kurt's team using their Batman gadgets to fight their opponents. Then the Scorchers come in and use their plows to clear all of the spikes off the road. And the Doom Rats end up giving them positive reinforcement. And for once, my mans does not hate the idea.
Thank you for clearing the road tunnels.
Maybe we should all work together.
I'll think about it.
More character development. Yay! Then Kurt's team uses even more Batman tech. Like, they actually turn into bats this time. And try to start the next Ice Age. But this prompts two teams to actually work together for real this time.
I've thought about it. We'll work together.
While main character just surfs on air and gets across. Then the Batplanes start aura farming by doing this cool sun thing, and then deploy their anti-vehicle mines, which sounds completely made up and fake. Also, where do they even store those things? Look at how many are coming out of that tiny plane. Also, Kurt realizes that his brother is in first and is going to die, and his team literally tells him his brother does not matter, which is kind of insane.
You have to detonate the mines before the racers reach them. I don't want anybody to get hurt.
What you want does not matter.
That's my brother in the lead.
Your brother does not matter either.
You gotta stop now. You're just trying to keep me from winning. Marky, mine!
Your orders are to reach the end of the track and get the wheel of power.
You go get the wheel of power.
The Accelerons built this track for human beings. That is why you must get the wheel of power. Then you must be destroyed.
Come on, start.
Bro, I thought these were just supposed to be anti-vehicle. Why are they blowing up the whole track? Also, why didn't he activate them when he got in the middle of the mines? Weren't they supposed to activate it to kill him?
Deploy anti-vehicle mine.
I don't want anybody to get hurt.
What you want does not matter.
This movie's dumb. Also, I would like to point out the amount of transitions that I've seen within the last 10 minutes of this movie is actually insane. Like, there was literally a transition like every 30 seconds. I'm not joking. Also, this is the part where I'd like to say that the two brothers finally have a heart-to-heart and reunite and bond and all the friendship stuff, but they actually don't. Because Marky is actually more stubborn than I realized and kind of stupid.
That was close. Hey, why was that robot thing after you? I thought you were working together.
We had a disagreement about helping you.
I don't need any help from you. Marky!
But luckily, Kurt also drives away after him, and they end up racing each other while also talking about their issues.
I have to keep Tesla from getting the wheel of power. You and I can work together. I can help you win the race.
I always looked up to you, Kurt. That's why I wanted to be a driver, to be like you, but I'm not you. I won't cheat to win!
I have to do what I think is right.
So do I.
You think you can beat me?
I'm not just your little brother now. I'm as good a driver as you are.
Nobody beats Kurt Wilde.
But then the other teams end up catching up to Kurt, and now it's just a race to the finish to see who's going to win this one, which will definitely be the final race, even though Tesla said it could be the final race like 3 races ago. But we're going to pretend that we did not hear that. And as they're racing, the other robot guy, which is not dead, ends up bombing the track and splitting up the racers, and then also starts attacking the other drivers by flipping them with its wing, which doesn't feel like it should physics, but we'll go with it because of the rule of cool or whatever. But luckily, the bat plane ends up attacking the main character, and we all know that he cannot die because of bot armor. So he ends up using his thrusters to stop himself from flipping and baiting the bat plane into destroying its wing by flying through giant popsicles or something. But all comes down to this: Kurt versus main character. Who is it gonna be? The ore is too strong. Main character ends up doing this crazy jump using the ice as a ramp, and Kurt tries to copy but ends up hitting one of the icicles and crushing out, letting the main character take the victory, and ends up making it into this city. And then we see the real Wheel of Power for the first time. Please don't let this one be fake again. I wouldn't be able to handle that. My sanity wouldn't be able to handle that. This video is already taking way too long. And the main character says one of the most brain dead things I think I've ever heard.
It's like a city built for cars.
Like, no duh. Aren't all cities built for cars? Stupid. Which is somehow still better than the world building for the movie called Cars. Robots was better though. We also learned that the robot that Kurt's brother knocked off earlier isn't actually dead and is coming back for vengeance as the main character approaches the Wheel of Power. But he kind of just boosts up to the Wheel of Power and grabs it. Or at least I think that's what's happening here, because it ends up in his car by the end of it. As we can't tell. And turns out they actually don't get scammed. Yeah, they actually end up getting the $5 million checks for all members of their team. I really thought that Tesla was gonna be like, actually, I think that I don't need you anymore since I have the Wheel of Power now or something. But no, he actually was a good guy, I guess. Alright, whatever. Anyway, since the Wheel of Power was removed, that means they won't be racing anymore on Highway 35. And that means that they can all go home back to their magic lives in La La Land and be best friends forever, right? Right? Main character wouldn't do something stupid right about now, right? Of course, he would never make it that easy. Main character is suspicious about why Highway 35 is closed and wants it to not be. You had one job! So they end up breaking inside of his research station and demand that he reopens the portal this instant.
So how about another race? I'm going home.
You can race, but not on Highway 35.
The portal will no longer open.
No more racing on Highway 35? The race is over. He doesn't make the rules anymore.
Even I cannot open the door.
I can.
That door is the property of the Scrim Corporation.
No problem. I can pay for the damages.
We want to race on Highway 35 again.
Why?
Meanwhile, Kurt is trying to escape. I hear that he plans to flee the country, but it's interrupted by Florum. Yeah, I can't believe it took me this long to remember her name either. And it turns out that she has just a few more of those bat planes in storage and sends them to take the Wheel of Power for herself. Anyways, Tesla keeps trying to siphon every drop of the Wheel of Power, but gets a little carried away and might have, in his own words,
I think I just blew every fuse in North America.
You what?
like, how do you even do that?
Power spike must have destroyed Gig's circuits.
It's my fault.
Oh, now you start to care. I see how it is. Then we get a lesson about how having that much power is bad for people or whatever. And then we get this scene.
Perhaps I will go home later.
Yeah, you're dead. GG's. And because lessons or whatever, they decide they're going to give back the Wheel of Power to where they found it. Yay, I love it when nothing happened the whole time. Let's go. All of this was for nothing. Yay! All jokes aside, though, teaching kids to be responsible with the power they have is a good lesson. But from an in-universe standpoint, this really sucks. Anyways, one final anime action scene or whatever. Celesto, or whatever her name is, while flying her helicopter, ends up going above main character and tries to use her magnet from before to suck him up and steal the Wheel of Power, which is actually a good reuse of assets, I think. Anyways, not villain guy and main character end up doing this crazy bait and switch, and Celesto actually dies, like for real this time. Anyways, Kurt drives up and tries to convince Celesto not to kill humans because killing is bad. And then we get a reveal that she is actually Robot Sans the whole time. What? All jokes aside, I actually actually wasn't expecting that reveal. So, good job, movie makers. You did it. You did a thing. Anyways, they all get chased down and are doing their best to avoid the bat planes with their aura or whatever. And let's do it. I told you guys this joke would get old. But main character and other guy end up destroying even more planes at the cost of him losing his engine for a minute. This could be it. Except, wait a minute, this is kids movie. No one dies, which means that Kurt ends up coming in to save him. Redemption! Or something. I don't know. I'm really running out of jokes and dialogue by this point. Let's wrap this up. Kurt saves him by grappling the bat plane and flings it into a wall, and also helps him start his engine. But just as main character is about to put back the wheel of power, Slippy ends up using a laser on her plane to cut off part of the track, and he can't make it. So Les tries to cut main character's car in half, but Kurt bombs himself straight into her plane that they yeet out of existence and die. Then main character makes one final boost to put back the wheel of power in its rightful place. So Slippy Whippy decides to piece out of there because she don't want no more beef. Also, they named the city Hot Wheels City.
It's hot! Hot Wheels City!
Lol. Like, writing team, you couldn't have come up with anything better than that? Maybe the Excella City, Wheel World, Burning Cool People Place? Anything? Nope? Okay. Also, main character gives $5 million to Chung-Chi so that he can finally help his people. Yay! Anyways, main character makes it back to Tesla's facility, and for some reason his dad just shows up there. Like, what? But for some reason his dad just shows up there and says that he already knows everything. Like, what?
Dad!
When my squadron stood down, I came home and found a message from my son. Something about driving in a race.
There's this thing called the Wheel of Power, right?
I know all about it.
You what?
This has to be the most insane reveal of the entire movie. What do you mean his father is just here and knows everything? What do you mean? Anyways, him and his dad end up having a heart-to-heart, and they end up driving his car together, and then he grounds him. The end. No, like seriously, that's actually the end of the movie.
You mean I've got the hottest car ever? And I can't drive it for a month?
Grounded is grounded.
And that was Hot Wheels World Race. Overall, if I'm being honest, there is some interesting characters and themes going on in this movie. You know, with Shang-Chi having to do with his people, Kurt being a massive douchebag to his brother, I guess the Wheel of Power thing, even though they have to return in the end, which I still think is kind of dumb, but I digress. And the sense of speed when they're actually racing in this movie, which is like most of it, is actually pretty good. The action in the movie doesn't get too stale, but can get kind of stale after a while, so take that for what you will. Also, the characters are like completely over the top. I actually kind of wish that there was a few less characters in this movie so that we could have more time to explore the depths of the characters while still having that large amount of action in the Hot Wheels movie. Not to mention that this movie is on some crazy TikTok level timing. It feels like this movie is constantly begging for your attention, which depending on who you ask, it kind of should. It's a kid's movie, but also it kind of shouldn't. But as an adult, it's kind of weird. Like 90% of this movie is action. I feel like this movie should have kind of had some more slower moments to really balance its speed. Not to mention the amount of transitions in this movie. I have never seen so many transitions in a movie. There's like 100 transitions in this movie for no reason. Sometimes like 10 in 1 minute. So yeah, what's my final rating on this movie? I feel like it's a bit more of a guilty pleasure than an actual movie that you would want to keep watching. I don't want to be that guy that gives it a 7, but it kind of feels like one. But yeah, that was the end of the Hot Wheels World Race movie. Don't forget that there are more of these, so if you want me to cover more of them, then hit the like and subscribe button. But that is gonna do it for this video, and as always, be ready for anything. Bye-bye. I've actually had a crazy amount of time to think about this movie. In fact, way too much time, because this video has taken me almost 2 months to make. Now, part of that is my own fault because of the insane editing that I decided to do on this one, but I also like have a life and a second channel which I am having to run. So yeah, let's hope that this never happens again. This video has been stuck in development hell. But yeah, with that time comes some wisdom. I'm not sure if I would still give it a 7. I feel like that it really depends on what you're looking for exactly. I think that I would probably lower it a little bit, maybe to like a 6.5, but I'm not sure. It's really, the thing is, it's really hard for me to grade something like this because it was entertaining and I had fun watching it, but it's not the type of thing that I would want to rewatch that has a lot of substance in it. So I don't really think that I need to adjust anything except for the ending of the movie with main character's dad, because upon watching it back, I've actually realized that the ending actually makes a lot more sense than I thought it did, with that whole him writing the letter, even though I don't really remember him writing the letter, but it kind of makes a little bit more sense than I was making it out to be at the time, and I was probably overly critical on certain parts of the movie, so I am just putting that out there. With the Barney reaction doing so well, I am actually planning on getting around to doing the Thomas movie reaction at some point, but I do not know when. I have a few other projects which I want to make first, which I really hope do not take 2 months this time. So unless this video ends up getting like 1 million views, then I probably will not put this much effort into the editing again. At least not for a while. It's just every once in a while I just get that itch to do some crazy editing again, and I have scratched it. And now I want to go back. But yeah, that's really all that I have to talk about. So yeah. Watch robots.